As a federal employee, your Thrift Savings Plan has certain features that benefit you earlier in your career. Taking action in your TSP today can be a life changer now and in years to come. In this video, we're going to cover 3 of our favorite benefits for the TSP for early career federal employees and give you some pointers on how you can maximize them for you and your family. Welcome. I'm Ed Smith, President of Valor Wealth Partners, where we're dedicated to educating federal employees on your complex and often underutilized benefits. When we're looking at the topics of early career federal employees, there's just so many benefits we liked, we couldn't fit them all into one video. So we looked at our top 6 tips and broke them into 2 videos. Today, we're going to be talking about the TSP version of that. But if you've missed it, you can get the video of Feds win early in their career either from the link above or in the description section. So let's take a look at why sometimes Feds don't take full advantage of their TSP. First off, you're overwhelmed when you first come into federal service. There's just so much to learn about your job, the agency, how the federal government works as an employee. But also, there's lack of knowledge. A lot of times these things aren't taught to people, so you don't know where to start or what you should believe. You also sometimes get a lot of bad advice. Whatever the reason, we want to try to help correct that today, and so you can be able to get this information so you can do what's best for you. Now, not everybody is going to agree with us. If you like, dislike, put some comments in the different comments section so we can be able to see what your thoughts are. And if you have a TSP tip for early career federal employees, please put that as well. Like we said, there's so many of them. We're only going to get to 3 of them today, but we want to hear what your other thoughts are. Maybe we can do a video on that in the future. In today's video, we want to be summarizing some of the key points that you should be looking at as an early career Fed with your TSP. We're not going to go so much in depth, but we do provide a lot of videos in this one so you can take a look at some of the other information that we provided and get a little bit more research on the topics we're talking about. And if we ever talk about a company or a different product, we get no compensation from that. We are acting as a fiduciary 100% of the time for our clients. And so we really want to be able to make sure that you are getting the best knowledge that you possibly can. We are not sponsored in this video, nor do we get any commissions for any of the products we may recommend. Let's get right into it. The number 1 tip that we look at is overfunding your TSP. Now, this may seem silly because so many people tell you to max out your TSP and put so much money into it. That's great. But what you really should be doing earlier in your career is at least getting the match of 5% contribution into your TSP. This is a 100% return in the first year on your investment, which is a phenomenal thing. Now, we also know that sometimes early in your career, it's just not feasible for you to put that full 5% in, so try to get as close as possible. One of the reasons why we look at not overfunding it and only putting in the 5% match is because when you're younger in your career, you have a lot of obligations. Maybe it's student loans, maybe it's starting a family, starting a business. There's a lot of different things that are going on. And when you save for retirement, you may be putting yourself in a bad situation that you don't have the means or the reserves available if something bad was to happen or to do things that are fun for you. There's a lot of Feds that we talk to earlier in their career that we want to retire earlier. There's one of them coming to mind. This couple is doing a phenomenal job of saving. The husband is a Fed, the wife has a really good career outside of the federal government, and both of them are maxing out their benefits in their 401ks that they have. The problem is they have a lot of things going on. They're about ready to start their family, which means one of them might be out of work for a little bit of time taking care of the children. They also have a lot of fun things on their list that they want to be able to do, and I want them to enjoy that. They're also looking at retiring early. And when I say retiring early, I'm talking about before their minimum retirement age, which can be very bad if you want to be taking money out of your TSP. Because if you're not 55 and older, you might have a 10% penalty. So you have to watch out on these different factors. Having the means to pay for some of these things early in your career means you have to save a little bit differently. So it's okay to save and not put the max in your 401k or your TSP just so you can be able to do these things earlier in your life. Again, you have to be able to look at all of the different factors. One of the things you also have to look at, as a federal employee, you have a really good income stream into retirement. Your pensions are phenomenal. Add on top of that your Social Security benefits. A lot of times, federal employees oversave for retirement and don't enjoy life today. We have a really good video on this, The Power of Your Pension. It is very thorough and in-depth. You can go to this link, or again, in the description section, we'll have a link as well. But what we want you to be able to do is understand that your pension and Social Security are a huge asset for your income into retirement, and you need to be able to enjoy your life today. Another thing we want you to be able to look at is that your taxes are generally lower when you're younger in your career. It makes sense because the older you get, the pay raises that you possibly get, and your income tax or marginal brackets go up as well. So if you're paying taxes on a smaller percentage when you're younger, it might be beneficial to not put so much money into your thrift savings plan because you're not getting as much of a tax savings. You also really want to know the tax code, because if you are putting in too much money and you're maybe at a threshold or coming up to a jump in that, you might be able to maximize that a little bit better. So there's some unique things that you can be able to do on the tax side to make sure that you're benefiting yourself long term. When you're looking at taxes, we really don't know where the tax code is going. We do know the government's been doing a lot of spending lately, and that means that taxes are most likely going up. And I don't know where they're going, but many people think that taxes are going up in the future. So if you think this is going to happen, you might not want to be able to be paying taxes in the future. You might want to be paying them today. So there's a lot of different options that you have to be able to think about this, but definitely, are you putting too much into your TSP? That might be a situation. At least get the 5% match. Beyond that, you really have to look at your lifestyle and do you have the means to do things you want to be able to do. The second tip we want to share with you today is to maximize your Roth and your TSP. A lot of people don't even look at this as an option because they don't understand the three major benefits of how you can manipulate this. The first one of these three benefits is time. And you have a lot of this. We're not just talking about getting to retirement. We're looking at getting past retirement and income through retirement all the way to your death. And you have a lot of time on your hands if you're early in your career as a federal employee. Here's a chart of just the last 25 years and how money has been affected in the, let's say the C fund, it's the S&P 500. In that period of time, the market's gone up almost 600%. And that's with having two recessions, the one in 2000 and then the one in 2007. So even with those two bad periods of times, the market's gone up almost 600%. This means that time is a huge factor for you and you want to be able to benefit on this. Now, the second area that you have to look at is taxes. And when you're looking at taxes, we just talked about this in the last section. And when you're looking at taxes, you want to pay taxes when you are in the lowest marginal bracket or in the lowest tax you could possibly pay. I don't know where this is going to be for you. You really have to know the code and know your personal situation to find out when is the right time to pay taxes. But if time brings us 600% return over a 25 period of time and you have more than 25 years, do you want to pay taxes on the gain of your money, or do you want to pay taxes at a lower bracket than what you might possibly be in the future? Even if it's the same tax bracket, you're going to pay a lot of taxes on the gain of that money. And the final area is the rate of return. You want to put the most aggressive assets into a Roth component of any type of account. Now with the TSP, you don't have the luxury of choosing your allocation of being different between the traditional IRA or the traditional component and the Roth component on the TSP. They have to be the same allocation. But there are some ways you can manipulate it so you can have different allocations between a traditional IRA and the Roth IRA for the majority part of your TSP accounts. That's more of an advanced concept that we want to be able to talk about, but just know there are some ways you can be able to do this, and there's some ways you can be able to invest for the long term. But when you're looking at this, you want to be able to make sure that you're getting the best rate of return in a Roth because you're not paying the taxes. We have another video here, traditional versus Roth. Take a look at it. It's a little bit more in depth, and hopefully that can help you out on the topic a little bit more. The third tip is a TSP loan might be the best answer. And I say might. I'm not saying it is the answer. First off, the TSP loan should never be used for luxury items such as going out and buying a boat or going on vacation or something fun like this. The TSP loan should be very specific and you should have a strategy when you're going to use them. You have to know what the TSP loans are, the rules, and when not to have them. But they can be a very valuable tool, especially for earlier in your career. Maybe you want to purchase a house and you need some extra money to be able to do this. Another time that I like to use the TSP loans is when people are in extreme debt. Both early career and some feds that are later in career are being strangled by debt. And the TSP loan might be the solution to help you on a long-term basis. When you look at this, let's take an example of $10,000 in credit card debt at, let's say, 29%. That dollar amount means that you're paying $2,900 per year just in the interest cost. At that level, you're probably not going to be paying off this credit card for a very long time. If you look at the TSP loan, which is at the interest rate of the G fund right now that's extremely low, let's just say that number is 1.5. That same $10,000 at 1%, 1.5% would be $150 per year. Would you rather pay $2,900 per year or $150 per year? Most people would probably choose the later. The other factor is the TSP loan in this scenario would be paid off in 5 years. A lot less of an obligation, both on the dollar amount that you have to pay per month and the interest that you're paying in that period of time. And you're out of debt in 5 years. Now, again, it's not best for everybody. You really need to be able to take a look at your situation, have a good strategy, know what the TSP loan is and isn't, and then go forward from there. Again, another video that we have on here on TSP loans, take a look at it because we go in a little bit more depth. Again, today we're just trying to get a summary of what's happening. If you're still watching, hopefully you got some good content today. If you have, hit that like button so we don't make more videos just like this for you. And if you disagree with us, please put some comments in there. We want to make the best videos for you so you get the best education because we do it for you, our viewers. Today, we shared 4 videos so you can get a little bit more detail than just a summary that we had in this. But in the video, for early career federal employees, specifically talking about the TSP, we highlighted 3 different things. First, getting the right contribution amount to your TSP, taking advantage of the Roth in your TSP, and also TSP loans if they're appropriate. We want the best for you and your family, so please get conflict-free, unbiased advice. Thank you for your time today, and we look forward to helping you in the next video.